Alright, today we're going to be working on story problems. Um, the best thing they talk to you about is they give you these steps here, and I wish they would have put those in the shoes, but they don't. We're going to read, underline the question. We're also going to circle the facts that we need and complete the problem, and then label. Remember, we don't want naked numbers when we're doing story problems. So, Tony is reading a book, and I'm going to circle the facts. Oh, let me get my pen on. Is reading a book with 361 pages. So far, she has read 178 pages. Jim is reading a book with 240 pages. How many more pages does Tony have to read? So one of the things that we see here is that Jim's involved in this part of the story problem, but it has nothing to do with what we're doing. So we're going to cross that information out because that is extra stuff that we don't need. So we can just cross that all out. So how many more tells me I'm going to be doing a subtraction problem. So I have 361 minus 178. And I know this is about 400. And I know this is about 200. So my estimation is 200 pages. If I'm really far from that, then I need to check my math. So I know I can't borrow from the 1, so I got to go next door, and that becomes a 5. 11 minus 8 is 3. Well, I can't take 7 away from 5, so I got to borrow. 15 minus 7 is 8, and 2 minus 1 is 1. So I have 183, and the last step is label my answer. I have 103, and it asks for pages. So they want to know that's underlining, how many pages does Tony have to read? 183 pages. All right, let's go ahead and try number 8. Paul had 178 marbles. I'm going to circle that information. He gave away means he's losing marbles. So he gave away 23 and then gave away 47. How many does he have? So I know I'm going to be doing subtraction. So I have 78 and I'm going to subtract 23, and that's going to give me an answer. And from that answer, I'm going to subtract 47. And so they want to know how many marbles. I forgot we need to underline. And that's going to be my answer. So 78 is about 200, and 23 is about 20. So when I subtract those, I'm going to get 180, and this is about 50. So when I subtract those, I'm going to get close to 130. So my estimate is 130. So let's see what we do when we subtract. 8 minus 3 is 5. 7 minus 2 is 5. And I bring down my 1. I can't borrow from that. So 15 minus 7 is 8. 4 minus 4 is 0. And I'm left with 1. So I have 108. And the answer is marbles. Now you're thinking, wow, 108 and 130 aren't very close to each other, but let's take a look at what happens if I change this to 180. Well, 180 minus 20 is 160. And 160 minus 50 is 110. So if I change that estimate to 110, because I round to the 10 instead of the 100, it changes my answer. We're going to be doing the same thing on page 33. We're going to be looking at what we need to do. We're going to estimate. So Bob scored 465 points during the basketball season this year and 510 points. How many more? That tells me I'm going to be subtracting, so we want to know the difference. I'm going to be subtracting. So I have 510 minus 465. Now, if I'm rounding, I'm going to say this is about 500, and this is about 500. So my answer is going to be close to around 0 points. So I'm looking for under 50 points here that we're going to be doing. So I can't borrow from the 0, so I'm going to change that to a 0. 10 minus 5 is 5. Change that to a 4. 10 minus 6 is 45. So 45 And that's less than my 50, so that's doing pretty good. And the answer label is points. Let's go and try the last problem. Pat has collected a lot of baseball cards. Her younger brother has this many baseball cards. How many more? Again, more means subtraction. So 1172 minus 537. And I'm going to round to the hundreds. So I'm going to say this is about 1200. And this is about 600. And I'm subtracting, so the estimate is going to be about 600. So let's subtract. Can't take away 7 from 2, so 12 minus 7 is 5. 6 minus 3 is 3. And I'm really just going to do 11 minus 5 is 6. So I have about 635, and that's close to my estimate. 635 baseball cards. So go ahead and do the 2 pages and see me if you need help.